you first of all customize the logo. So you will just set the logo that you prefer to use. Then you will also have to enter the name of your business. So for example, it could be Brian's Enterprises. And a username. You need to set a username that you'll use to log in and a secure password. Then you need to set up a security question that will be used to recover your account in case you forget your password. So I'll have the form filled, then I'll submit. I'm redirected to a login page. I'll be able to log in with my newly created credentials, which is my username and password, and I'll go ahead and log in. The next page you're presented with is a page that asks you to import existing products from Excel. So you may prefer to edit your products in Excel because editing products in Excel is much easier, or you may have already existing. So for that, you'll just ensure that you get the template. And when you have the template, you just have to ensure that the columns match the columns in the template and the columns in the Excel sheet match. So I'll go ahead and choose an Excel that has already been populated with 2 products, and I'll be able to verify on this table that those are the products that I want, and I'll be able to save that. Then I can go to the next page. Now this is the POS page. It opens by default with a pop-up that asks you to start your shift for the day. So every day when you come to sell on the POS, you have to start a shift. So all account balances and everything will be set to when you are starting with the shift. You also have access to yesterday's balance. So because this is a new setup, yesterday we didn't sell. Yesterday's closing shift balance is at 0, and I can also update. So for example, I had 500 shillings that I'm starting the day with. I can just set that amount here and start my shift. Now on the POS page, you can see the 2 products that I imported, and all products are still out of stock because we haven't updated inventory. So we can visit our dashboard. We'll click on the icon below the logo. So as you can see, there is the dashboard icon, and I'll be taken to my dashboard page. By default, the home page has your current account balance. This is the 500 shillings that we started with our shift. Then our stock value is currently at 0 because we haven't added any inventory, and the only transaction that we have here is the account opening balance. So to be able to actually sell something, we need to be able to update the product, set the correct pricing information, and set the correct stock amount so that we can be able to sell. So one way to do that, you can go back to the dashboard by clicking on the icon below the logo. So if I click on that and expand the products and services section, I'll be able to see all the products that I have. So I have the 2 kg Togo fortified and the 500 ml Brookside milk. So I can click on this, and this will give me a product update form. Alternatively, I can go back to the POS page, now the POS store, and to do that, I'll just click on the cart icon. So when I'm on the POS page, I can right click on a product. It will give me 2 options. I can either edit the product. So to edit this product, let's ensure that we assign it to the correct category. So this can be any category that I want. Let's say it's food, and this also lets me set the subcategory. So it's maize flour. under the food category. I can add the category. Now I have food, and under food there is maize flour. There can also be another food item such as dairy, and that also falls under food. I'll be able to add that, and when I close this, I have access to my category information. So I can set the category as food and the subcategory as maize flour. Clicking on the image icon lets me update my image. So I can set the correct image for the product. Scrolling down a bit lets me ensure that the pricing information is correct. So in this case, I'm buying it at 122 shillings and selling it at 127 shillings. There are some summary information on the right. You can see the buying price, final selling price, the pre-tax margin, and any other information that is relevant to the form. So I'll just ensure everything is all right. Come here, set the correct unit as kg, and save. When I save that, the product is now updated with the correct image, but then the stock count is still 0. So I'll right click on that, and I'll select update stock, and on this update stock I can either increment the stock or decrement the stock. So the way the two options work, if I want to increment my stock, say for example I have currently 0 items and there are 100 items that are incoming, I'll select the on the update inventory form, I'll select the criteria to be adding. So I'll be adding products to my inventory. Then I'll be able to set how many items I'm adding. Then I'll be able to give a reason for that if a reason exists. And once that is done, you can see that the inventory history on January 6, 2022, on this date, there were 100 items that were added. So if, for example, I needed also to just reduce the inventory, I'll be able to say and reduce it by 5 items. So just subtract 5 items from that. And on the history, there are 5 items taken away, and the new count is now 95. I'm also able to see the total value of my stock. So all the items that are there, the total value of all items that is calculated based on the selling price of these items. So when I go back to the POS by clicking on the cart icon, you can see that the Jogo maize meal now doesn't have the out of stock warning. And when I click on it, I'm able to add an item to the cart. I can also go through the same for the Brookside. So previously we were right clicking on the item, but then we can also go through the dashboard. So I'll click on the dashboard, products and services. Then I'll go to all products. From that, I'll choose the product that I want to update, the Brookside product. I'll set an image for that. So I have an image here. I'll ensure that the category is set correctly. So for example, food, and it's under the subcategory of dairy. And the buying price, I'm buying it at 35 shillings, selling it at 39 shillings. Then I'll be able to also ensure that every other information is correctly set. For example, the item unit to be 500 ml. And when I go back, the image is now set. I'll go back and I'll go now to the inventory page to be able to update the inventory. So dashboard, products and services, inventory. Then I'll click on the table. I'll click on the product I want to update its inventory. And for these items, I'll be able to set 200. So I have 200 of these items. Uh, and Going back to the page, you can see everything is now okay. I'm able to add the other item to cart. So on the page, once everything is set up, you can add and just set the amount. So for example, I'm collecting 550. uh, it calculates the change automatically. There is an option to add tip. So for example, the customer doesn't want to go with the 3 bob change, you can just add tip. There is also an option of adding the customer. So the select customer here will let me select customer, but then the form here also lets me add another customer. So if the customer information is necessary, it's added. If it's not that necessary, we can just confirm. And once you ensure everything is correct, you just confirm again. And now we've sold the items that were in cart. When I go back to my dashboard after doing that sale, I can see that my new account balance is 550 is 1050, and that comes about because I opened the day with 500 shillings. Then I've also made a sale worth 550 shillings, and there is a breakdown of everything. So for example, the amount that is incoming via sales, we have the expenses, then we have the incoming amount. For example, that if there is an amount that doesn't come from sale, but then for example, if it's out of pocket money that you're adding to your account and also outgoing, I can also update the balances. Let's say I take 500 shillings from the account and deposit to the bank. I'll be able to just set the amount. The criteria will be decreasing the amount. I'll be able to confirm the new balance, and I'll be able to save changes. There is a chart to track, to also compare the incoming and outgoing sales. Then from there, um, we can also make orders to the supplier. You can view the customer information. These are the customers that are added to the system. You can also add and view supply information. You can create invoices, print them, and share them. You can also add multiple stuff. So, for example, if you wanted to let somebody else sell from your POS, you can add their account as staff, and they'll be able to sell. We have the sales page here. The sales page gives you some analytics on how the sales are doing. For example, the volume of sales, the total profits that you've made, the number of items sold, and the average sales, average amount. Then there is a table to give you also a breakdown of all particular sales. Then you can also manage your expenses. You can add an expense. So for example, you spend 70 shillings on food, you can add it here, and it will also affect the overall balance. The 70 shillings will be deducted from the account balance. Then you can also set the tax rate. Some items can be zero rated, some items can have special tax amount. You can configure that tax information here so that when you are adding or updating a product, you will be able to set the correct tax rate. The network section is for collaborating. So if you want to connect multiple machines, multiple POS software to be able to sell the same products, that comes under a network. We have the payment methods. If you have other payment methods, for example, pay bill, you can add the information here so that when you go back to the POS page, under the payment methods down here, you can just set, if the customer decides to pay via M-Pesa, you can set M-Pesa which you added on the payment section here. We have the preferences. You can choose to remove products that are out of stock. You can set your scanner, you can set your print settings, so you can select your printer, the size of the receipt, the number of copies of receipt that you want, and you can show print previews and also enable silent prints if you want to print without the dialog. Those are the main features of the app. Um, those are the main features of the app, and I'll just go back, um, sell a few items, and go back to my dashboard, and I can see that the balances update as they are supposed to be. So that's it.